Okay, yeah. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that looks terrible. Oh, hey. Welcome to Max Kitbashing. Thank you for joining me. Episode 1. What was that? Oh, what's episode 1 about? It's a very good question. Today we're going to be kitbashing a general or a leader, otherwise known as a Toff, for the indie wargame Turnip28. Stick around. Hey. Yeah, no, it's... Yikes. Alright, so let's get started. This is going to be a very basic kit bash today. Figured episode 1, we're not going to go too crazy. Anybody can do something like this. You don't need a lot of experience. Hell, if I can do it, you can do it too. Got my bits picked out here. Now, Carrot Dan is a pretty eccentric fellow, so he's going to be wearing this fancy greatcoat with a cute little vest. Alright, time to get out your favorite glue. I know it's hard, but try not to sniff it. Now, I went with some arms here that are more open pose. Figured since Carrot Dan's going to be the leader of the army, I want him to be nice and open, kind of a commanding presence. Alright, now that that's done, next up on the list is getting some green stuff ready. Now, once you get your green stuff, you're really going to want to mix it around. You're going to keep mixing it. Keep mixing it. Keep mixing it. Till it looks like a booger. So I'm just grabbing a really small piece here, because I want to put that in the neck hole there. Because the guard's kit head that I'm using doesn't quite fit right on the greatcoat here. But with a little green stuff and little shoving and molding, it should fit on there. Yeah, look at that. Beauty. So I'm grabbing another small piece of green stuff here. I'm just going to use this to go over top of the model's face, because I want to put more green stuff on there, and that gives me a nice flat surface to stick more onto. Got a slightly bigger piece of green stuff here now, and I'm rolling it up into a cone shape, because with Turnip28 the models have these kind of plague doctor looking visors on their helmets, and that's kind of the vibe I want to go for too. So with a little molding here, I got these sculpting tools. They're a little too soft. They're cheap. They work all right. Use my fingers and just try to get that shape down to that visor, that helmet. Now, I'm not a professional, so anybody can do this, and yeah, I don't think that looks too bad. Poke a few holes in there, and she looks good. I also added a little telescope to his back. Alright, so let's get working on the base here. So I have this banner from a Beastman kit that I found laying around. Thought it'd be kind of cool to have him behind Carrot Dan. And I also got these little wood chips. Figured if I stack them on top of one another, I can make a cool little rock for him to stand on. And there it is glued down. I'm sure it'll look good with paint. Figure out where I want Carrot Dan to go on here. Now, I did stick the banner on. I put a few rocks around it because it was not really stable. And I'm going to add this treasure chest because every good general has his treasure, and Carrot Dan really likes that shiny stuff, so put a few more rocks around the base. It's starting to come together, look pretty good. There he is, Carrot Dan, ready for a prime and a coat of paint. So, let's get to painting. Got my dirty old wet palette here, and Carrot Dan all primed up. Yeah, he looks very good after priming. I'm very happy with that. First paint we're going to use is Parasite Brown by Vallejo Game Color. We're going to thin that down and we're going to slap it all over his gray coat. Now you want to thin down your paints. It's always better to do 2 or 3 coats rather than one great coat. But you can see me here doing second coat. I realized pretty quick that I maybe should have put the banner on after because it makes it a little difficult to get in behind him there. Yeah, it's looking pretty good now. Second paint, we're going with a gory red, also Vallejo Game Color. Now, like I said, Dan's a bit of an eccentric, so figured a nice red vest would suit him pretty well. I'm gonna, later on, I'll brighten this up because this is a pretty dark red and I want it to stand out a little more. Cayman Green is next up, Vallejo Game Color again. I'm gonna use this green to paint his cap, and also I'm gonna use it on the banner behind him as well. Yeah, putting that banner on after would have made it a lot easier to get all the details painted, but oh well, live and learn. Still got her done. Now we're going to bust out a burnt red, also from Vallejo. We're going to use this to paint Dan's pants. Poor Carrot Dan has IBS, so he always wears his brown pants into battle, just in case the battle goes on a little longer than he was hoping. And next up we got a black from Vallejo. We're going to use this black to paint his boots and also his gloves. So we're going to get into some highlighting, and we're going to use this deck tan. Now I like to take this deck tan and mix it into my previous colors. So I'm mixing it into the Parasite Brown, and you're just going to kind of go over all the raised spots where you've picked your light source to kind of hit your model. It's very basic and easy highlighting. I'm going to do this for the cap, the coat, the vest, and also the pants. I usually mix the deck tan in once, and then I'll do a coat, and then I'll mix it in again and make it a little brighter, and I'll do a second highlight. Then I usually wash it all with, Nuln Oil or Agrex Earthshade. Kind of brings it all together. Very easy. So you can see it there on my wet palette. I did mix it in twice with the Parasite Brown. You can see 3 different colors there. And I'm doing the same thing with the Cayman Green now. And produces a pretty decent result. So I did lie about using the deck tan for the best as well. We're going to use this Scarlet Red to bring up the color of that vest and that feather. Just the gory red wasn't bright enough for me, so I think that looks a lot better. Stands out more. Yeah, we've taken a little more of that deck tan, mixed in with the brown for the pants. And there, I finally show it on camera. You can see me mixing in a second time there to get the final highlight. If you're ever looking for a metal, I'd suggest these new true metallic metals from Vallejo. I use this for his metal helmet here, and oh, it looks great. Goes on smooth. It's actually probably my new favorite paint. So, oh yeah, look at that beautiful purple. And now I take bright bronze from Vallejo Game Color, and I'm going to use that to do the telescope and all his little buttons and metallic pieces, little doodads and extras. Alien Purple and Hexed Lichen are up next. These are what we're going to use just to do the feather here. I tried something new. I just quickly put the base coat of the Alien Purple down, and while it was still wet, I threw on some of that Hexed Purple, and I think the result turned out pretty alright. Yeah. I also start the freehand on the banner here with those same two purples. Unfortunately, I think it jumps here in the video because I forgot to hit record when I was doing the rest of the freehand, so you're going to see a lot of work on the banner and just kind of jump forward, and I apologize for that. Yeah. Taking a little bit more of that deck tan now, and I'm just going to do all the bones, all the skulls. My favorite recipe for doing bones is just this deck tan followed by a heavy shade of Agrax Earthshade. Dark green from Vallejo Game Color is up next. I'm using that to do the, well, it's supposed to be fur on the banner, but I'm doing it kind of like grass, plant matter. And here we have that true metallic metal. This is the shade for that. This stuff seems to be kind of between a normal shade and contrast paint. It's a little on the thicker side, so you don't have to use too much. A little goes a long way. And here's where you see that jump. I finished the banner, finished the freehand, made all the horns look like carrots. Yeah, he's looking pretty good so far. And we're going to take silver, metallic, and just do the sword real quick. That's all we're using the silver for. And I think that's Carrot Dan done. Now we're going to move to the base with some somber gray. I'm going to use this somber gray to paint up the big rock and some of the surrounding rocks. Then we're going to take a dark flesh tone and we're going to paint the ground and some of the other rocks just to blend them in with everything. And then we're going to take this dark sea blue and we're going to make part of the base seem like water. Why not? Turnip28's all swampy and wet. Dry brush a little light gray on there. And the final step will be a healthy coat of Agrax Earthshade over everything. Hey, it's me again. My wife and kiddo have gone to bed, and so I'm out here recording this in the truck. Don't mind the sweat. It's a little hot out here. I'd just like to say thanks to everybody who watched the video. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun to make. I plan on making more. Shout out to my buddy Cam. Cam, you got me back into the hobby. and convinced me to pick up some plastic crack. And, well, now I got something to spend all my money on. Where am I going from here? Well, I want to make more videos, and I think the plan from here is to make 2 armies for Turnip28. That way maybe I can convince people to play with me. And after that, we'll probably just explore some more indie war games, indie skirmish games. I'm interested in making up some characters for 1490 Doom, so that'll come eventually. And I got a buddy who's interested in playing some Pirate Borg, so I'll probably make up a couple characters for that and see where that goes. But yeah, we'll just take it day by day and video by video. This one is pretty basic. I'm not a professional. I'm sure I'll get better as the videos go along, but if anybody else out, or if anybody out there is wanting to get into the hobby, it's pretty easy. Just go pick up some plastic miniatures and some green stuff and give it a try. Hell, like I said, I think this was my 3rd time pulling out the green stuff, so if I can do it, you can do it. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. But anyways, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.